following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Central Time. That can mean only one thing.
Let's go.
Your favorite program of the week, the month, of the year is live. There's a live look at, I don't know what's going on in my ear, but there's a live look at the Tostitos Championship Plaza at Ford Center in Frisco. It is a nice 59 degrees. It is going to be a high of 60 today. It'll be a low of 39 tonight. It's a beautiful plaza. Man, it is dropping. It's going to get cold tonight and later on this week. But fellas, Nate Newton, Jesse Holley, Kurt Daniels joining me, Shannon Gross. How are you guys doing? It feels like it's been 2 months since we've been together.
I know, man. I'm great. I'm doing well, man. Good to see you guys.
Wow. Wow. That's all I can say is wow, man. I'm excited, man. Let me tell you why. Can I tell you why I'm excited?
Please. Tell us why.
Yes, tell us why.
I am busting at the seams, man. Because when I get off this air, all I know is I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere.
I like your shirt there. You supporting Jackson State there, Nate?
I've been there I've been in the last 3 weeks. I've been there 6 times.
Damn.
Drove up.
You on the payroll yet?
Oh, nah, man. Oh, no. If I love you, I'll show up for you, baby. If I love you, I'll show up for you. The only person I get that payroll from, and I still love it, is Mr. Jerry Jones. I love you, though.
How you been, Jesse? You doing good? You look good.
I'm good, man. I'm good. My skin's looking good. I'm flourishing in life, and everything is great, man. My hair's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got a little bruise on my arm right there, man. I was like,
that girl bit you, dog.
How'd you do that?
That trailer park thing getting a little vicious, ain't it?
you gotta get physical in the trailer park sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You can't come to the trailer park half stepping, man. Sometimes to get, them thick girls, when you lift them up sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You gotta come with that, Woo. It's like a workout in the trailer park, man.
I see Chris throwing his arms up. Chris, you married. What you do? Chris Bean throwing his arms up. Chris, you married, bro. What you throwing your arms up for?
He's covering his bruises.
That's a war zone bruises. That's those virtual bruises. Kurt, how you doing, man? Looking good.
I'm doing real good. Yeah. Feeling good. Doing
great,
good.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're looking good. You been working out, Kurt, or you just look that way?
Well, it's all just looks. But that sure don't work out enough. So.
Man, a lot of stuff going on in the NFL the last week. You got the Super Bowls coming up. We'll get everybody's thoughts on that. And let's just get into. Did we talk about this last week, Matthew Stafford?
No, it happened right after.
We didn't. Boy, Matthew gone.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I like how the Rams did that, man. I love what the Rams did. I really do.
Okay, why do you love it?
Well, this is gonna make for a great debate because I hate what the Rams did.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
And Jesse, that was my first thoughts. But this leads right back to the Cowboys. They say we made a mistake in Jared Goff. The head coach went to ownership and to GM say, "Are y'all feeling what I'm feeling?" And they say, "Yeah." They say, "Well, how much we gonna pay to get this dude out of here? We're gonna give you 2 number ones, and we're gonna pay part of his salary, but he got to go. We have a team that's ready to go. We have a team that we think can take us to the next level, and Jared Goff ain't it." And so when you think that way, yeah, you're going to take a big hit and a big loss. And I'm not saying Stafford is the do-all, be-all, but we've never seen him in optimal conditions. He is in optimal conditions with a great offensive-minded coach, a solid defensive team behind him that can make plays. This team is ready. Jesse, tell me why They made the wrong move.
And here's my one. I think they gave up way too much. You gave up way too much to a soon to be, and I think in the next couple days he'll be 34 years old, right? So you got an older quarterback, often injured. I get it. Took a beating in Detroit. The thing that really got me was even when Matthew Stafford was at his optimal best, when he was clicking on all cylinders, the Lions still were bad.
Yeah, but
still a bad football team.
But that wasn't his fault, though, was it? It was the guys around him. Now he's got better guys.
You had Megatron at one point in time. You had decent teams where you had some really good players around you, and you still were really, really bad. You went and got Matthew Stafford to give yourself an opportunity to go back to the Super Bowl, a place where Matthew Stafford has never been. He's never been to the playoffs. He doesn't know what it feels like to be in the playoffs. He doesn't have playoff pedigree. He doesn't have any of that what you need that guy to take the next step. And this isn't a guy that you're going to have for the next 6 or 7 years. This is a rental. You're going to have Matt Stafford for maybe the next 2 or 3 years at best. I know we see Breeze and we see Brady, those guys playing well to their 40s. Those guys are more of the exception, not the rule. You're not going to have a bunch of guys playing into their 40s at the way you see Tom Brady and Drew Brees and guys like that. That's not going to happen.
And Phillip Rivers.
That's unrealistic. So for me, I think you gave up a ton to go get a guy who you really don't know. Because this is, like when they did this deal, whatever God they believe in, they did a whole lot of praying. Because Sean McVay, you're now tied to drafting Jared Goff and okaying him getting a contract extension and it not work out. Like that's the thing that people are missing. Yeah, you're getting Matt Stafford in, but the guy who y'all named Boy Genius, he signed off on this. He signed off on, yes, let's get Jared Goff a lengthy, expensive extension after they went to the Super Bowl. So in his heart of hearts, he thought at one time, this is our guy. There was no reservation because he said, well, hold on. We still got him under contract. Let's just see this thing play out a little bit more. And they didn't. They rushed to judgment, gave him a boatload of money, and then it didn't work out for him on the back end. And so now for Sean McVay is, if this doesn't work out, immediately, might I ask, or might I add, because you're not going to have time for this thing. This is a right now move. That was a right now move to get Matthew Stafford here. If this doesn't work out right now for you, this could be your job. Now, we see how guys who sniff farts of Sean McVay get jobs in the National Football League. I don't think he'll have a problem getting another job. But you gave up a whole lot for a guy that doesn't have any playoff experience. Oh, by the way, he might not even be, he's not the best quarterback in your division. And there's arguments that he might not be the second best quarterback in your division. There's some that say that Kyler Murray might be better than Matthew Stafford. So you brought a guy in, and even in your own division, and God forbid that if San Fran gets Deshaun Watson, Matthew Stafford drops down even more in your division. So you're going to have
Genius going to hold him, though. Boy, Genius got him.
What?
Sean McVay got him, baby. Next level.
Yeah,
next level.
I hope Sean McVay is calling you to offer up some prayer to your God to let you
serve
get,
the
so
same
you can
God.
make sure.
So yes, sir. So you're praying too. Yes, sir.
I'm not praying.
Yeah.
I got nothing to do with that. I'm not praying for that. I'm not praying for that.
You're the gospel.
No.
You're the gospel.
That ain't on me.
Yeah, it is.
What do you think about the Rams' philosophy, though? They haven't had a first-round pick since 2016, and now they're not going to have a first-round pick till like 2023, 2024, something like that. They obviously don't place as much value on it as maybe, and they'd rather use those picks for guys they know have some pedigree to them. So what do you think about that philosophy?
Situation.
Jesse
said they're in the now. They are going. You will see a drastic change. If this thing fall apart at the seams, you'll see a drastic change. In 2023, they'll keep that first-round pick, and they'll start to rebuild. But when you're in the now, you don't waste any time. They're in a market that's much different. Dallas owned this market, this area, thanks to the Texans not being anything. Dallas still owns Texas. L.A. Rams don't own the state of California. It's too many things going on. If you don't stay in the now, you will float to the end, and your public, when it does be able to come back in the stadium, won't show up. California's got too many things going.
That's a great point. That is a point that I will agree with you wholeheartedly right there. And yeah, that's a great point, Nate. That's a great point. You have to go for the now.
Thank you, Reverend Jesse.
That's a great point. That's a great point. That's a great point.
I kind of admire the Rams going for it. They've realized that they got Aaron Donald, they got Ramsey on defense. This is their opportunity.
Dark side, come on.
Yeah, and so
yes,
I kind of admire. They're like, we're all in. They put all their chips on the table. We're going for it right now. Who cares what happens 2 years from now? They want to win now. But it also makes me wonder: did the Cowboys miss their opportunity to go in on? All in. 2016, they were 13-3. They had 2 young studs. Since then, it's been kind of a disappointment. And so on the flip side, I kind of wish maybe the Cowboys had a little bit of that gambling attitude, which is surprising because Mr. Jones is a gambler. But
we used to do it. We used to do it, man. We used to go all in, but it has changed now. The climate has changed. I mean, we're conservative. That's just who we are now. And we did a show the other day, yesterday, man, and I'm trying to protect players and stumbling all over the deal. And at the end, man, it just dawned on me at the end, we always continue to complain during the season. Here we are in the off season, and a few guys came to me and said, Nate, you keep saying we're going to switch the offense. And a lot of guys at the end of the show, they asked us, were we far away? And both guys that were on that show said, yeah, with a few offensive pieces, with a few this, few that. And I'm saying to myself, here we go again. I disagree. We have no defense and expect to go to the playoffs and have a true, realistic chance at the playoffs. We talking Super Bowl and don't have a defense?
All right, Shannon.
Yeah, they need to go all in, Kurt, to answer your question.
Shannon, Nate just set you up for a great transition to one of the questions that Kurt put in the text. I want to see if you pick this thing up and transition to it. Let's go.
I haven't even been listening to y'all the last 10 minutes. So
God. Jesus Christ.
How's your mother doing, Shannon? What are you thinking about? I mean, you thinking about your mom, the wife, the baby? What are you thinking about?
Let me transition this thing. Nate, you brought up a great point about how far the Cowboys are away from truly competing, whether that be offensive, defensively. Kurt put in the notes early on. There's an article out, and they list tiers of teams and where they're at, right? And they're like, this team is ready to win right now. This team is a year away. This team is 2 years away. This team is like 2+ years away. And I believe the Cowboys were in the category, Kurt, correct me if I'm wrong, of being 2+ years away.
No, ESPN had them at 2 years away.
2 years away.
Bleacher Report had them in 1 year away. And both said they needed to sign Dak, stay healthy, and improve the defense. And like you just said, Nate, I'm not sure how you do that in 2 years, let alone 1.
Here's what the Cowboys have to do. Like you talked about going all in. Like the Cowboys have to make a splash. They have to find a way to make a splash. Now, that may mean trading one of their favorite players. That may mean, doing something outside of the box that helps this defense out dramatically. And again, we're talking about a team where if Dak comes back healthy, and by the way, fellas, completely just take this and we'll put this to the side. We have to dive more into this thing of Dak maybe not being 100% healthy right now. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying that he isn't. I'm just saying we're talking about him being, this accident happened in October and it's February and I'm hearing Dak is still like on crutches and wheelchairs and stuff like that. So that's a whole other conversation. But
you just trumped everything you about to say because our mind went deadlocked. So we can talk about this. No, stop.
Defensively,
stop. You have just messed up everything, brother.
Defensively, this team, you don't have to overhaul this defense. We've talked about this time and time again before. This team doesn't need the number 1 defense in the league. This team doesn't need a top 5 defense. This team doesn't need a top 10 defense. You have to find yourself somewhere in the middle of the road. And that may be, bringing in a guy in the secondary, bringing in a guy in that linebacker. And it doesn't have to be superstars. We get so enamored and so fixated on the names. That's the Cowboy way. If the names aren't what we think they should be, we think that those players aren't good players. I talk about this all the time when you look at a guy like Blake Martinez. Most people don't know who Blake Martinez is. I'll take Blake Martinez any day, twice on Sunday. Why? He is a tackling machine. Doesn't have the big name, doesn't have the fancy everything, and then in all the commercial, don't have the signature celebration or the big business moves off the field. He's a football player. And if the Cowboys can find a way to find football players, I don't need Pro Bowlers. Those are nice. Those are great. I don't need all pros. Those are nice. Those are great. But if I can get football players who can grasp a concept, play lights out at their position, and just simply do what we ask them to do on a very high, consistent basis, I think this offense is good enough, if Dak is healthy, to take this team to greater heights. We just don't need a defense in the 27 and 28 and 29 and 26. We need a defense that's around 14, 15, 16, 17. If we're somewhere around there, creating some turnovers, creating some stops every now and again, this offense is built great enough where it can take over and win football games. It just shouldn't have to be always in 40-point battles every single week because your defense couldn't stop a nosebleed.
So would you like to see them find those football players through the draft or through, like you said, current guys you already kind of know about?
I want a mixture of both. I think a mixture. But the thing is, if you're going to draft these guys that's going to play. We don't have time to draft guys and shelve them. We don't have time to having guys truly develop. We don't have 2 and 3 years. You need to get guys who are going to be able to come here and impact now. To truly be an impact right now. If that's in a rotation, fine. But also mix in some veterans that's going to be able to play every single down while these younger guys are playing in the mix and they're gaining their experience. You gotta have some stability, but you also got to make sure that your cupboard is still full. You can't just go out there with empty cupboards and hoping and praying that the guy that's playing the number 1 spot is going to be healthy all year long. You got to have some stability, and you got to have a cupboard that's a tad bit full with some players that can play the game.
We're going to keep our cupboard full of Wingstop because we're going to take a break to pay the bills so we can all eat. And when we come back, Nate's old buddy, Jimmy Johnson, had some pretty interesting words to say. And then Kurt has a whole segment he's going to do on the Super Bowl with crazy prop bets. We'll give you our picks, all kinds of other fun stuff. When we come back, you don't want to miss it. The next 2 segments of Hanging with the Boys.
Is your family a Cowboys family? Have you taken holiday photos at the Star? Was your wedding theme blue and silver? Have you convinced your kids them is spelled with a D? If so, every game day feels like a vacation to you, so treat it like one. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for Hanging with the Boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough as nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back. If you are watching the big game this weekend in old basketball shorts or baggy sweats, well, you're an amateur. If you want to relax like a pro, upgrade to the comfort of Tommy John loungewear. It looks awesome, feels even better. It's got pockets for snacks and machine washable to get out any of those nacho cheese spills. Shop loungewear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 15% off your first order. TommyJohn.com/Cowboys. I have mine on today, and I am living in comfort, fellas. And Nate, your good buddy Jimmy Johnson was on the USA Today podcast. I think it was last week or over the weekend. And he had a very interesting comment. So I want to get your take on this. Jesse, want to get your take on this too. Kurt, obviously, you brought this to the table, so we want to get your take too. So Chris, you got about a minute long clip that we're going to just play the audio. So roll that whenever you are ready, sir.
I don't know that bringing in someone new is going to change things. It's really a unique place to coach and to work. There are so many accolades that go their way and unearned. A lot of those players walk around like they've got Super Bowl rings on because that's the way the public and throughout the country they are treated. They're treated like, hey, you just won the Super Bowl. But in reality, they didn't even make the playoffs. And so the coach has got to be a hard line, no nonsense type of guy. And sometimes he's got to combat that. I would start my very first practice like we were 1-15. And that's how I'd treat those players. And we would be as physical as the NFL would let us be, but I would grind on them. By the middle of the season, they would hate to see me coming. But hey, some way, somehow, you got to bring them back down to earth and make them realize they only won 6 games or so.
So, Nate, what I want to get from you, just general comments on what Jimmy said, and then Jesse, what I want to get from you is how different are players really treated here in Dallas, because we're around it, we see it. You've been other places recently. How does even a practice squad guy or a special teams guy get treated differently here in Dallas than they do in some of these other stops that you've been in? So, Jesse, you take it first, then Nate, you jump in after.
You guys laugh when I say this, but it's all about the star. It's all about this right here. And if you are associated with this at any juncture in your career and you're in the DFW area, and a lot of times the bigger your name is associated with this, the farther it stretches out, you're God. We've had this conversation before. I was a practice squad guy when I got to the Cowboys. I was relegated basically to special teams my entire career with the Cowboys. I was making $30,000 to $40,000 in the offseason in autograph signings. Like, let that sink in for a second. In my playing days, a guy who started on the practice squad and may have played in a game, depending on how the game went, 15 total snaps. And most of my plays that if I made any, it went unnoticed because it was a special teams tackle or, maybe one catch that moved the chains for a first down. In the offseason, hey, $2,000, would you come sign here? Hey, we're going to fly you to come down here. Would you come sign here? Hey, would you come do this? And this is me. I'm okay with saying I was a jag. I was just another guy. I was easily replaceable. Coach Garrett one time said, I wish I had 53 of you. I said, Coach, you got one. He said, yeah, but we're going to release you. Anyway. And so, wait, you wish you could have 53 of you. You got one of me. You want to let that one go. So, and it was an afterthought. But when you're here in Dallas and you play for the Dallas Cowboys, you are I would say you are a demigod. And the doors open up for you, the restaurants reserve tables for you, your car gets parked out front, you get all the special treatment because you're associated with America's team, with this thing right here. And it doesn't matter if you're a practice squad guy like myself or if you're Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. Now those guys, the treatment gets even better. I mean from simple things as restaurants to getting out of tickets to getting out of court cases, you name it. When you're associated with this, you have a different sense of reality because it doesn't apply to you because you're playing by a different set of rules simply because of this thing right here and you had that helmet on.
So it's not like that in Cincinnati?
They was arresting them cats left and right in Cincinnati. When I was there, the cops used to sit right there on the bridge. They used to sit right there on the bridge. The club in Cincinnati, the club owners used to invite the players out, liquor them up, and then when they leave, call and tell the police that the players are coming back over the bridge. And the cops will be sitting, literally 2 and 3 cops will be sitting at the bridge when you're crossing back over into Ohio. And it's Cincinnati. You know the guys who got the all blacked out Range Rovers and the guys who got the Mercedes and the guys who got the orange Lamborghinis. Like, they was, man, go back and look at Cincinnati from like 05 to 09. There was a rest of them jokers left and right. And the same thing in New England. Like, unless you're the guy, nobody's trying to really hear from you. But here in Dallas, whew. Nate's still making big money. He played 30 years ago.
Nate, what you think about what Jimmy had to say?
You say Jimmy said his comments, hard line, no nonsense, start like we were 1-15. By the middle of the year, we would hate to see him coming. That is totally and completely how it was when Jimmy got here. Jimmy, when we saw him coming, it was the middle of the season, man. We didn't know whether to speed, drop our head, or we was getting cut. We didn't know how to take this coach because, and y'all have heard me say, every time they went to hire any position coach, I've said, please let this coach coach. Please let him put his stamp on his team. Please let him have total control. Now, when you let a coach have total control, you can get rid of this coach if he doesn't complete his job. How can you get rid of a coach where you say, well, every decision is a joint venture? Every decision can be explained away. There's no one being held accountable, including the coach. So I'm with Coach Johnson. Lord knows I didn't like the man when he first got here. Lord knows I didn't like him. He's definitely after the first year with somebody sitting in my locker every week. I definitely didn't like him. But guess what it did for me as a player? And people say, well, players are different. Well, I guess that's why up until last year, I guess that's why the Patriots continue to win. I guess up until last year, I guess that's why the Steelers continue to win, because they have a culture that is not going to be shaken by a few players that think they're good. Antonio Brown was one of the best in the business. Bell was one of the best in the business. They no longer play for the Steelers. And the Steelers, even though they fell apart at the end of the year, they still won 11 or 12 games. You have to have a mindset that cannot be broken by the outside. See, Jesse pointed to the star, but I point to this ugly picture my wife got behind me. That's what they should see when they go in there. They should see a bleakness. They should see a hole. See this hole over here? They should see a hole where they are going through it. They should have an emptiness in their heart where they don't know whether they're going to make the team or not. I go to Jackson State, and I look at Deion Sanders and the way he's coaching, and I pull him to the side. I say, "How you doing, Jimmy Saban?" He like, "What?" I said, "How you doing, Jimmy Saban?" "Why you calling me Jimmy Saban?" Well, you're acting like Jimmy Johnson and Nick Saban. You ain't cutting these players no slack. You're like, nah. Unsmart players that don't want this game the way I want it, they got to leave. And we got a bunch of players on this team that don't want this game. Kurt, you want the game more than what some of these guys want. You be upset after the game more than some of these guys. When you can get on the phone 5 to 10 minutes after a game, the coach hasn't even spoken yet, everybody's still getting undressed, and you texting? Where are your priorities?
Nate,
where are your priorities?
Does it bother you, and I just thought of it this way, hearing you talk, does it bother you that you were part of championship seasons? You helped propel this franchise into what it is, and that star to become what it is. You know, there were teams before you. You know, the Bob Lilly teams and the Staubach teams and the Randy White teams, and then you were part of that legacy that kept it going. And does it bother you that the players feel entitled and they have that attitude, knowing that you were part of guys that did it and you kept it going? And now what you kept going is kind of dying off.
It's faded away.
Something years. Gone. Yeah.
I tell people, you take advantage of the situation. You don't want to begrudge none of these kids the opportunity to make money. Let them make all the money they can. But I still say you can make all the money you can, love this game, play it as hard as you can, and milk it for everything it's worth. That's on the field first and off the field second. Because if you milk it for everything it's worth on the field and have great success, just think, right about now, they are saving you a space at the club for your car. All of a sudden, they'll be coming to pick you up. They'll be like, hey, can we send a limo to pick you and your family or your friends up? Because you are winning games. You're really challenging something. It changes. Your money goes from what Jesse was talking about, $30,000. You talking about people giving you $70,000 and $80,000 and $90,000 off season just for a guy that's on special teams. They don't see the big picture that if you excel here as a Dallas Cowboys and do everything you can, the world is truly yours. Right now, they're just scraping around the edges. They're benefiting off of something that Mr. Jones have created. They're not doing this on their own. They're not generating anything. It's just a great marketing job by the Joneses.
So given that off the field they are just, like Jesse said, demigods, they're just swarmed and beloved. And then maybe on the field, you mentioned maybe the decisions are jointly made. Can one man change this? Can McCarthy come in and change all this?
Yes, sir. When I heard Jimmy talking, they asked Jimmy a long time ago, can he come back into this league and coach? And Coach Johnson said, I'm not that guy anymore. Don't you know how hard it is to wake up in the morning with one goal? Jimmy fired his wife so he could be the Dallas Cowboys coach because he didn't want anything or anybody to take away from his single focus of turning this thing. Do you know how hard it is to wake up and look at your wife and say, hey, babe, I'm going to Cincinnati and I'm going to change it around. I don't want to go to Cincinnati, baby. Bye. I'll see you when I get back. Well, I'm leaving you. Bye. Or your kids, hey, son, I can't come to your college game. I'm focused on turning around the Cincinnati Bengals. Your mom and dad that come in town, you say, hey, I got a meeting I got to attend. When your single focus is only on the Dallas Cowboys and turning around their program and making sure that everything focuses, everybody's going to have a well-rounded life. Well, we're well-rounded and we mediocre.
Yeah.
We are well-rounded now. You talk to these guys, they well-rounded. They can speak well, they can talk well, but the only thing they can't do well is
win football games well.
All right, fellas, we have got a fun, action-packed segment. This next segment, you don't want to miss it. Kurt is going to walk through about 900 different weird and fun prop bets. And it's also the 25th anniversary of something, Kurt, this week?
Super Bowl 30, last championship.
Somebody on this podcast played in that game. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll come back in a minute. We turn it over to Kurt when we come back. Hanging with the boys.
Prop bets.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for Hanging with the Boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough as nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Fellas, we got a new live read. Supercross.
All right.
Experience the most competitive and highest profile off-road motorcycle racing championship in the world when Monster Energy AMA Supercross returns to AT&T Stadium March 13th, 16th, and the 20th. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they sell out at SeatGeek.com. All right, Kurt, you got some fun stuff that you sent us today. I want you to take over this last segment. One, because I just don't want to talk anymore, and two, like, you put this list together and it's all really interesting, fun stuff. So you take it away. Talk Super Bowl. Kurt Daniels, let's go.
First off, I just want to get Nate and Jesse, your opinions on kind of how this is set up this year. Due to COVID, I don't think the Chiefs are flying into Tampa till Saturday. So it's like a normal week, whereas normal Super Bowls, they've been there all week, they've been there a few days. Think this is an advantage for the Chiefs in that they are keeping it like a normal week as they would, or do you think it would have been better for them to be there, kind of get used to Tampa, get used to the scene and that whole thing?
I personally think it's an advantage for Kansas City. One, you already know what it is to be at a Super Bowl. Most of the guys on your roster, right? At least half the guys on your roster have been to the Super Bowl in Tampa. But if you're at home and you're doing your thing at your own crib, you're sleeping in your own bed, practicing at your own facilities, and you don't have to worry about all that hoopla, I think it helps easier for you to lock in and stay focused on what you're doing. And the same thing for Tampa is that outside of maybe Tom Brady and a couple other guys, none of those guys even been to the playoffs in the last couple of years. So let alone the Super Bowl. I think not having all the hype and the media and the fanfare and all of these obligations, and Nate can speak into this better than I am, but just in having to deal with tickets alone is already a headache. That is a headache and a half to deal with tickets. who's coming,
so
who can't come.
Selling to the highest bidder, you're trying to make a decision, right?
Yeah. Where they're going to stay. You can't see your family because of all the COVID restrictions. So, I mean, I think I get that everybody has to make money, so you have all the hoopla. But I mean, it's an advantage for both teams. I get to stay in Kansas City and work on all I need to work on without having all the hoopla and fanfare. And then for Tampa Bay, I don't have guys getting distracted by all the hoopla who's never been here before. They can stay locked in and stay focused. That's why I think this is going to be one of the greatest Super Bowls we've seen in a long time.
Well, I can't add nothing to that. That is great, Jay. I feel the same way you feel. Now it's going to come down to the best team, the best defense, and the best quarterback.
Would you have rather stayed home and done it like a normal week?
No, sir. I had to get mine. No, sir.
But Nate, okay, so Nate, all right, what about like Super Bowl number 2 and 3 though? Like you got the first one and that was great, but what about Super Bowl 2 and 3? Where you're kind of like, all right, or maybe I'll say Super Bowl your third Super Bowl. It's like, all right, cool. We've been here, we've done that. I don't want to deal with this nonsense. I want to just play the game because you know what I'm saying? Because you've been there a couple times. No, all right.
I wanted it, bro. I wanted that. I wanted that street life. Forget the Super Bowl. It's a street life. It's what we did before the Super Bowl that counted.
Oh man, that reminds me. You 2 of the Super Bowls you played in, I think the first and the third, there was 2 weeks between. But the second one, there was only 1 week between, so you didn't have that kind of extra. That hurt? Yeah?
That hurt, man. That hurt. I didn't get to stretch my legs.
Oh, man. Okay, so we're 3 days away now from the Super Bowl. It's Thursday. What was that like for you, Nate? Were things get more serious? The nerves start firing up a little bit? Did Jimmy make it tougher? I mean, or did he back off? I mean, how did it ramp up by this point?
That is where Jimmy was so good at keeping all the practices close to what we did at home. Even how he handled us on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday the week of the Super Bowl. He said, I ain't put no curfew on y'all. Y'all know what to do. We've been here, done that. The first year he was a little bit more stiffer. Second year relaxed, third year relaxed, third time relaxed. He knew that we was going to take care of business. We was going to do what was right. We was going to get off the street. We was going to do what was right. We were older and slowing down tremendously in that last Super Bowl, but thanks to Larry Brown and Neil O'Donnell, is I'm pronouncing that cat's name right? Because I don't never want to get his name wrong. We got through that Super Bowl, brother.
I've heard that was it the Friday practices? I mean, Jimmy, those were some of the toughest practices you had. Did I hear that one time?
He strived on Friday. Jimmy strived for perfection. We had on shorts and shoulder pads and our helmets, and he strived for perfection. You know, he wanted you going fast. You didn't have to kill yourself, but he wanted you going fast into the right holes, to the right gaps, getting the right fits. He wanted his receivers flying off the ball. He wanted his DBs running with you. And, you know, not so much being physical, but he wanted to see everybody being where they're supposed to be. And he wanted some enthusiasm while you was doing it. You didn't have to kill yourself like we did on Wednesday and Thursday, but on Fridays, he wanted to see that you knew what you was doing. So our practices was mentally tough. Was it the same way in New England, Jess?
Well, I wasn't there when they went to Super Bowl, but as far as practices, it was always about what you talked about, perfection. Get it right. Get it, you know, and there's been times in practice where we've done it 5 times in a row. And, you know, I remember, I'll tell a very quick brief story. Was when I first got there, they had just they had the Wes Welker catch that not catch against the Giants that he dropped. Remember that one? And his wife was talking about it, in the hallway or whatever. Well, we had run that same play in practice, and Tom Brady overthrew Wes Welker, and Tom is yelling like, "Let's run it again!" And Josh McDaniels like, "All right, no, let's play." Tom's like, "No, we're running it again. Right. This ish cost us. We're running it again." We ran it again. This time Wes dropped the ball. The same play, ran it again. And Tom's like, "Line it the F up. Let's go. Run it again. We're going to run this play until we get it right. This play will not cost us another game."
Right.
And we ran it again, and we got it right, and then we moved on to the next play. And that's early in the year. Like, it was like, that's the start of the season.
That's
It
how
wasn't
Friday
even.
practices was.
Yeah.
That's why. Troy never had to worry because Jimmy was always locked and focused on them Friday practice. I've seen him one time call us all up. He say, "Everybody, get your," I mean, we all running up like, "Oh man, what in the world? Oh my God, we done messed up practice." He called the coaches over to the side and cussed them out. The players are trying to do the best they can, and y'all need to pick. Oh, he went off on the coaches. Then we started practice over again. I'm over there laughing like, look at you, coach. But I made sure I didn't mess up now. I would have held a little vengeance on me. So.
But Jesse, that reminds me. I mean, what did you think of Danny Amendola came out this week and said the Patriot Way isn't Bill Belichick, it's Tom Brady. And did he bring that kind of? Is that what the difference is this year with the Bucs? Is what Tom Brady has brought?
Yeah, I heard about that, and it's. I said, I think it goes hand in hand, right? It's Bill Belichick was able to create that culture because Tom Brady helped him win. There's certain things you just can't do and demand if you ain't winning. I'm sorry. But when you begin to win and win at the rate that they were winning, not just games, but Super Bowls, and your best player is the biggest catalyst of doing everything right, doing it being the first guy there, being in meetings, not missing practices, doesn't take days off, all of those things, and you're winning. Now that it just went together so well, and Bill was able to have that type of way about him and the program because Tom Brady was the guy who was saying, "Yeah, Bill, I'm going to challenge you. You're going to challenge me, but we're damn sure going to challenge every man in this locker room." And it's going to result in victories. And when it results in victories, now we can have the persona of the Patriot Way. So I don't think, we saw this year without Tom Brady, they didn't look like the Patriot Way. So having a guy like Tom Brady and the winning is so important. It's so key. It's so critical. You cannot, you just can't demand what you can demand without the winning part of it, because it'll get tired and it'll get old and guys will be like, "Man, shut the hell up. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, coach? You won nothing." But when Bill speaks, you listen because you're like, dude got 10 rings, So
the deal is, man, Kurt, is LeBron left Cleveland, went to the Heat because their GM is a winner. Pat Riley is a winner. And he went there and he learned and he watched and he took notes and he learned how to win and took it back to Cleveland and demanded that he was that GM and he picked and chose the players. And Tom Brady, when he left, he looked, okay, I'm going to get better wide receivers. I'm going to get everything almost equal to what coach is giving me. But if I go in there with the right frame of mind, and remember, he went against all COVID protocols with his offense. He didn't care if you saw him out on the field with his guys. And he took the time as the seasons to build these guys and to ramp them. And you heard Leonard Fournette last week say, yes, Tom picked me. He said, come in, I'll show you the way. Yes, I had to do extra work after practice. I had to do extra film work. But boy, has it paid off. When your leaders, like Jesse said, I could not do anything wrong because of Troy, Mike, Emmett, Charles Haley, Tony Tolbert, guys like that, Woody, they wasn't playing. They wasn't playing. And Jimmy always told me, I used to try to pick Coach Johnson, what you like about this guy? He loves the game of football. They're never late. Now, Mike is the exception to the rule. They're never late. They're doing extra film study, and they love the game.
Well, by that third, again, it's 25th anniversary of Super Bowl 30. By that third one, Barry Switzer was at the helm. I mean, was it at this point? Was the players kind of running the show? They knew what to do, or
yes, sir. The residue of what Jesse said about this season, what Coach Garrett and his staff has left, it was enough residue from what Jimmy had left in us and what left in Troy and Mike and these guys till we were able to get one more out of ourselves.
Might be a loaded question, but did you win because of Switzer or despite Switzer?
We won with Coach Switzer. We won with Coach Swisser. It wasn't in spite of and because of. We won with Coach Swisser. Like I said, we had enough residue left, enough character, enough pride in what we were doing to make sure we got that last one in. And once again, I would never ever exclude O'Donnell as being a part of our team.
Did you guys give him a Super Bowl share of the Super Bowl pot there?
I wish we could have gave him a ring or something, because this kid got to walk around with that for the rest of his life.
Oh man! All right, well, we get the last few minutes here. I think it's always funny around the Super Bowl. It's biggest betting day of the year, I think. But it's not just who's going to win and who's going to be MVP. It's all these funny side bets. So I was digging through some of those, and I thought I'd bring a few of those up. I don't know really if it's anything you can answer, but just kind of throwing them out there to get your opinion. But here are some of the funnier ones. One of them is one side has the odds on the primary color of Jim Nance's tie, with blue being the favorite, purple the long shot. I don't know why anyone would bet on that. A normal one every year, I think, is will the national anthem, the over/under of the national anthem, which I think this year's it's around 2 minutes. So I don't know, what did you guys ever, like Nate, were you had one of the greatest national anthems ever, I think, with Whitney Houston, but
I listened to her sing it, but the distance and time of it, man, I just enjoyed it. I didn't know if it was 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I just enjoyed it that she was singing it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You ever pay attention to bets?
I always bet the over when there's a black person singing the national anthem, because we always gotta add a little extra to the normal. So whenever there's a black person singing it, I'll take the over 9 times out of 10.
I can't remember who's singing it this year. I think it's a couple different people, maybe, or one's doing the anthem, one's doing the God Bless America thing. But anyway, there's a lot around Tom Brady, including how many times they're going to show his wife Giselle Bundchen. I can't be sure. It's 1.5. Over under is 1.5. Which I'd like to see the over on that one.
They ain't giving up a lot of money on that. I promise you.
No,
they're going to show her. Good, bad, or indifference.
One of them is what will be mentioned first? Tom Brady's age, which I think is 43, or how many Super Bowls he's been in? 14. So,
Jesse, man, I ain't good betting. So
age.
What you think,
They're definitely it's gonna be age. It's gonna be age. It's gonna be age. They're gonna open up with Tom Brady, 43-year-old Tom Brady. They're gonna open up with that.
Yeah. Here's one for this year. The Weeknd is doing the halftime show. He's the big star. They've got bets on whether he will come out wearing sunglasses or not.
No, I don't know he gonna show off that new face he got. He ain't wearing no sunglasses. No.
Surgery. Hey, so Tom Brady got a new face, Shannon?
A new face?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's weird looking.
Yeah,
I thought that was just a youthful look, that he was taking taking some better vitamins or something. But anyway, I don't know about them facelifts and all of that, man.
Our behind the scenes leader Chris Beam said it's Jasmine Sullivan and Eric Church. They're doing a duet for the national anthem. Jasmine Sullivan is black.
That'll be way over.
Oh, Eric Church is white though.
Yeah, but he's a country, and they draw those syllables out, so that's way.
Oh, okay.
3 minutes. That might hit 3 minutes.
All right, that makes
sense.
He got some soul too. Eric Church,
a soul in a country that ain't nothing but blues coming out, baby.
Oh.
Eric Church got some soul too, so that's going way. That might hit 5 minutes.
Yeah, that ain't nothing but some blues, baby. That's gonna be some long mourning and whining.
Oh, I tell you what, if I was Jasmine or Eric Church or The Weeknd, I'd bet the over. I bet I'd be wearing sunglasses, and then I'd wear the sunglasses. I'd have my handler lay down the bet.
I say the same thing. I'm like, I would have a friend or a relative like, yo, listen, go bet 100,000 on me wearing sunglasses. And I'll split the profit with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, take the 100,000, go make the bet. I'm going to wear sunglasses. I don't know if there's some sort of thing that's like, I don't know, but like, this is easy money to make.
Anybody, they got to take it. Or either
easy money. That's easy money. I agree.
Easy money. Easy money. I'm like, if I was down someone, and like for a singer, this is a constant bet that they make every single year. Will the national anthem go over whatever a lot of time out of it? I would be like, hey, here's $50,000. Jackson only has $50,000. I'm putting a $50,000 bet in and says, yes, I am. And I would be practicing to go at the time.
Then when the show is over a week later, a dude named Vito show up at your house in a black Cadillac.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Buddy back.
You got to do what you got to do.
And this is always a good one, too. I think they do this every year. The MVP. Who will the MVP thank first? The favorite right now is teammates. He's going to thank his teammates. The long shot, I think the field is, betting the field's a long shot. It could be anybody. But the next second long shot is the owner, the guy thanking the owner first. I thought thanking God might be the favorite, but no. It's the teammates right now is the favorite one.
I think for Tom always likes to thank like his wife and his father, his mom and dad. He always makes it a point to thank them. But I don't know, it's a good one. Teammates. Tom might go teammates because he's been there, so he knows all the little hoopla to say. And I don't know, Patrick. He might thank the fans.
I would thank anybody that's gonna give me the car or the trip.
You're thanking Ford or something.
Yeah.
Thanks to Wingstop for getting me here.
There it is.
So who do you guys got in the Super Bowl? Kurt, who you picking?
Well, I'm going with Kansas City. I grew up in Kansas City, even though I was a Cowboys fan. I still have a soft place for the Chiefs. So I think they're good unless the Bucs defensive line.
Don't jump all over the place.
No, I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs. All right.
Okay. He was going to jump all over the place, Jess. You heard it.
He was hedging his bet.
That's right. That's right.
He was.
Who you got, Nate?
I'm gonna go with the NFC. I've always been with the NFC, even when I know I was gonna lose to Tom Brady. Like I think we're gonna lose to this kid, but I'm going with the NFC. I'm not gonna hedge. I'm just going with the NFC.
Jesse, who you got?
I'm going with the young gun.
He's a beast, ain't he?
This is the the old Western movie where the young kid now, the old dog hands over the revolver to the new young Western. This is it right here. This is Tom Brady.
Tom ain't finna get his thing up easy.
He may not give it up easy, but at the end of the fight, all right, son, I just don't got it no more. I gave all I had. I was
Thanks
really
for not
good.
shooting me through the heart. He shot me through the heart.
Passing of the torch.
He has to pass the torch on to the next great thing, and I think Patrick Mahomes takes this league to the next level.
Patrick Mahomes is so sweet, man. Kurt, you gonna win on me, but it's okay. Jesse, you gonna beat me down too. Who you got? Beard, who you got?
I think Kansas City is going to win. I don't know how you slow down that offense. Tampa Bay, the only way they can win this game is if they win the turnover battle. But I just don't see Kansas City turning over enough for them to close the gap and score enough points.
But I heard Tom in his crib. I got a little secret mic in Tom Brady's crib. You know what he said?
What in his bedroom?
Yeah, not his bedroom. I didn't want to face that side. I don't think his body look as good as his face.
I just want to hear what Giselle sounds like. You know what I'm saying? That moment of passion. What is Giselle? She's like got that Brazilian accent. You know what I'm saying?
She ain't no trailer park girl.
Yeah, give it up, matey.
No trailer park girl. Like, they sound like Nate. They sound like Nate wrestling with Tom Brady.
Like Tom Brady told his guys. He said, "I tell you what, I got the one common factor in my Super Bowl that I lost that we got now. It's called Jason Pierre-Paul, who the Cowboys didn't pick up."
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like it.
They do sound. I think
we're talking about who Cowboys didn't pick up. Jason Pierre-Paul. We got Tyrann Mathieu. We could have had. What's the other safety that they have there? Juan Thornhill.
Yeah.
We got two linebackers that are playing for the Chiefs that we didn't. I mean, the list goes on.
That was here. Wow.
All right, fellas. Well, I will see y'all next Thursday. We will have a new Super Bowl world champion when we come back. I'm sure we'll start some draft talk, all kind of good stuff. The new season starts Sunday night as soon as the Super Bowl is over. Looking forward to Cowboys football. Will be right around the corner. Nate, Jesse, Kurt, Chris Beam, good seeing you boys. See you next week. Peace.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?